Are you a figure drawing artist? Maybe you go to life drawing, but you feel stuck and frustrated making the same drawings week after week and you don't know how to change it up. In this video, I want to share 3 simple techniques that activate what's known as flow state for drawing. This will improve your observation, which in turn will radically improve your figure drawing. I'm going to explain what flow state is for drawing in particular and why most figure drawing students are not aware of it. My name's Siobhan. I help artists to break through blocks in their work and to unlock a dynamic and expressive approach to drawing. I also write about figure drawing every week over on Substack, and I'd love you to join my newsletter. So I've left a link for you in the description below. So last week I shared a couple of exercises that work like a charm to loosen up your line work and to help you to get more confident and expressive in your drawing. This week, I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that will help you to get into the flow state simply by focusing on the way that you observe. It's really simple, but it has a profound effect on the way that you draw, and it will transform your work from generic looking shapes to powerfully unique and beautifully observed figure drawings. So flow state is the feeling that you're one with any activity that you're doing. Let's talk about this and how it's slightly different for artists and for drawing, because the common example is people like athletes who are highly skilled at what they do. They're in a flow state when they're performing or engaged in their sport. And the point is that these elite athletes have trained at a very specific skill, so much so that they can reach a deeper state. Essentially, when they're engaged in their sports, a deeply creative and intuitive process takes over the skill set that they've learned through logical, step-by-step or analytical processes. I believe that when it comes to art and drawing in particular, you can access flow state at any time. You don't have to have a very advanced drawing skill set. And I know because I've seen complete beginners tap into this, and I've experienced it firsthand myself as a complete beginner, a very untalented, unskilled figure drawing student, through one of the very exercises that I'm going to show you today. It not only changed my drawing, but it changed my understanding of what drawing could achieve. So let's talk about why you might not be in flow state when you are doing figure drawing. But first, if any of this is resonating with you, or if you're familiar with being in flow state when you're drawing, drop me a comment below and let me know. But if this is completely new to you, or you don't know what this is, or you haven't really experienced it, let's talk about why this might be. So I think anatomy and proportion, all those kind of rules around figure drawing, they're very useful, but focusing on them alone can keep you in a pattern of very analytical driven drawing when you're working really hard to make a perfect looking figure. To balance that out, remember that drawing in itself is a creative, right brain activity. And in fact, so much of observational drawing, drawing what you observe, so much of it is actually much more successful when it's approached with intuitive and creative modes of thinking. You can watch this video here if you want to learn more about how your brain handles different tasks using different modes of thinking in order to complete the task at hand. But the reason that most figure drawing students are not in flow state is simply because they're focused on continuously analyzing and judging as they draw. Clearly, the drawing process is all about constant feedback. That's how we make a drawing. But the quality of the feedback that you get when you're in flow state is different. The feedback is not simply analytical. It's intuitive and it's responsive and it's deeply connected to observation. Very skilled artists can switch between being analytical and being intuitive effortlessly in order to refine their drawing as they work. But for beginners, they don't know how to get into flow state. And more importantly, I think they don't allow themselves to be intuitive since it runs the risk of making a bad drawing. But I want you to learn about what this very present, very focused state feels like. And I want you to know that you can activate it or turn it on when you need to. And being able to switch into this creative and responsive way of drawing can really solve a lot of issues for you when you're feeling stuck in your work. So there are lots of ways to trigger this flow state, but here are 3 exercises that you can apply to your figure drawing today. And I've ranked them in terms of their effectiveness. So the first one is a well-known exercise, and that's drawing upside down. What you'll do is literally take your reference and turn it upside down, and then simply start drawing it. You'll quite quickly find that by doing this, it helps you to forget what it is you're drawing, and instead you just simply focus on following lines and shapes. It's very effective and it gives quite surprisingly accurate results. This exercise was popularized by Betty Edwards in her book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. Now, of course, you can't always turn things upside down, especially in life drawing. But in reality, the value of this exercise is more so in the fact that it's an easy way to experience this feeling of drawing in a right brain flow state kind of a way. It helps you to recognize it and then hopefully be able to recall it at a later stage. The next exercise is negative space drawing. So in this one, you focus on the shape or the space that surrounds the thing that you're drawing. For example, in this instance, instead of trying to, work out the length and shape of the arm and then the length and shape of the torso and sort of, how they relate to each other, simply draw this shape right here. And by doing that, you will have solved all three proportions. Drawing negative space might not make sense for an entire figure drawing using, only this technique, but it's super helpful for drawing difficult areas of the figure like, foreshortened limbs or, the profile of the face. I find very difficult. And it's a great drawing hack if you want to check how you're composing your image on the page. So the last exercise is one that had such a profound effect on my drawing, and I rely on this in nearly every drawing that I do, especially if I'm drawing the figure from life, and that's blind contour drawing. For this exercise, you need to focus on the contours of the figure. So you'll end up with just a line drawing, but it really triggers a very focused and concentrated way of observing. Simply pick a contour. It could be an outer contour or an inner contour, and move your eyes really slowly across that line. As you do so, move your pencil or charcoal at the exact same time. But importantly, you don't want to take your eyes off of the model or your reference. You need to just trust that your hand is going to draw the exact thing that you're observing. The main points to keep in mind here are draw very slowly, draw slower than you think you're drawing, and also don't look down at your drawing as you draw. So if you've never tried this exercise, then I suggest devoting an entire drawing session to this one process. If you have done this exercise, then you'll know the benefits. And what I'll suggest is incorporating it into your regular drawing by using a semi-blind contour. So you can flip back and forth between observing the model or the reference while you draw and checking your drawing then to make sure that it's all matching up. So for me, a drawing flow state arises naturally when I stop focusing on the page and I simply focus on looking at the subject that I'm drawing. It could be different for you. You could easily get into flow state when you're fully focused on the page. But I think if you want to improve your observational skills, definitely try out one of these exercises because it'll give you that experience of really focused observation. But in either case, the qualities of flow state are unmistakable. Your marks and lines flow freely and you feel calm and focused at the same time. And drawing feels easy. It doesn't feel difficult or frustrating. So as I said before, how you observe as an artist is really just one side of your drawing skill set. And having a complete drawing skill set will take your art to the next level and allow you to express yourself fully as an artist. If you want to learn more about this complete drawing skill set, then check out this video next, where I talk about how to integrate it into your drawing practice. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll look out for you in the next video.